Hello, everyone, once again.
What do you think I asked? Hey,
You know what? I just okay.
They're talking about a thing. Anyway, what I was going to say is this. Well, they might. Do you remember that weird Chicken Little movie, Fable?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, apparently they made a video game about it, and then they made a sequel to that video game.
Oh Lord.
I don't know why, but we're about to find out. So let's head into this and make sure we know what we're doing.
I'm just gonna not talk for a while.
Are you embarrassed?
No, I'm just more confused.
It's okay, Fable. We're all confused when surrounded by Big Mama Cat. She is a cat of her own wilds. But she's a nice cat and a friend. So, we're always happy to have her around. Anyway.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, what am I gonna do? First I cut Nick June short, now I'm down a Cartoon Network! Oh god, the Hub... June? No, the My Little Pony game's too new. Fox
What?
June? No, Hidden Run deserves better. Nick Jr.? Oh god, it's the perfect name, but all those games are for babies! I can't show my audience how to count! Wait.
What?
Oh god. Have I really sunk that low? Are things
Probably.
really that dire?
Seems-
Dire there? Alright, fine.
Oh my god.
Time to break the glass.
The emergency glass. What cards are
yes.
these? Oh, Fable, these are the Cosmo cards that I told you about, which it's a mix of, not Alice in Wonderland, Dorothy from Oz, and Star Wars.
So literally some kind of weird dystopian not dystopian, that's not the right word. Just some kind of weird space adventure, but with Dorothy.
Look at this one. It's the Cosmo Farm Girl. What do you think? It's basically a mix of Luke Skywalker and Dorothy.
Alright, I need to look up these cards. That seems interesting. A
It's
weird concept for sure, but interesting.
It's Cosmo
nonetheless.
with a C and a Z instead of an S.
Gotcha.
But yeah, there's also the Wicked Witch of the West over there. That's Darth Maul for some reason. And the Stormtroopers are those monkeys.
Way.
My head hurts.
Don't ask me.
You see, Chicken Little, why do you want me to do this one so bad? Short of him, I've never gotten more requests to make a video than I have for the next Chicken Little game. What have I done for multiple hundreds of people to ask me to play a game that acts as a sequel to a movie that nobody liked, following up on an at most 3-minute joke from the end of the movie, the part of the movie where families are piling into their cars to talk about their favorite parts, which for this movie was dead silence. I said, don't suggest this video. Don't! I don't claim to have an explanation for people's taste, but what I do claim to have is a video about it. I mean, you're watching it right now, after all. So the game starts at... What? Listen, I know I went into the histories of the channels with the last two of these, but this is a little different, you know. Cartoon Network was around since 1992, Nickelodeon 1977, Disney 1923. That's 98 years. Do you really expect...
It's kind of crazy how long Disney has been around. For 100 years, basically, now. Think about that. It's crazy.
It needs to be stopped.
I heard what Fable said. What did you say, Big Mama Cat?
I burped.
Oh.
Even want 98 years of movie, television, and theme park history summarized all as a lead into the sequel to Chicken Little?
I forgot this was a Disney property.
Yes, I do. I have it right here. So Disney was actually founded by a man named Walt DreamWorks, who along with his brother Roy Disney started Disney Brothers Cartoon Studios in California in 1923. Together, the pair worked to create... Listen, we're talking 98 years here. You can make a whole Duke Nukem forever in that time. There are just some parts that aren't as interesting as others. You'll thank me later. later. And thus, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was released, the first
Ratchet
feature-length
and Clank.
animated film
Bumbles.
ever made, if you don't
Pretty
count
much.
El Pastolo in 1917, or Creation in 1915, or The Adventures of Prince Ahmed in 1926, or Paludopolis in 1931, The Tales of the Fox in 1937. But if you don't count those, it was a trailblazer! This film ushered in
it's
the golden
100%
age of Disney
inspired by
animation.
Star
In America,
Wars. Oh, God.
feature-length
What
animated
the
films
hell?
had never been attempted or fully accepted up until this point, and as such, Disney had the run of it, releasing classic
Oh, you're looking at the Cosmo cards.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and on the wiki it says their inspiration, and literally for Farm Girl, Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, Mara Jade. Yeah, Mara Jade. Okay, that's actually one hell of a pull. I like that one.
I don't think it was actually Mara Jade, and they just made Dorothy into Luke Skywalker, but yeah. You know.
No, I know, but I love how it says in the references they also include Mara Jade, which is kind of nice.
films like Pinocchio, Dumbo, Bambi, and Fantasia. These good times will continue as...
Oh,
Why
God.
do these guys not just
What the
buzz
hell?
off? Seriously, they're really starting to take me
Yeah,
off.
it's
So
pissing
Disney
me
was
off.
at war, or rather, the animators were. Disney's
Yeah.
staff was massively cut thanks to the Second World War, and as such, their
Well,
style
yeah, a
of
bunch of them
filmmaking
were
had to
fighting.
change. Making
I
films
haven't
like
covered
Bambi
this.
and Snow White was pretty much impossible with the staff they had on hand, but Fantasia might have had the answer. See, this wasn't the golden age anymore.
Fantasia.
This was the package era, where films were just collections of shorts presented with a very loose through line. Anyone up for a tall glass of Make My Music? No? Yeah, everybody says that. However,
I don't
once
even
they drew
remember that
Donald
one.
Duck hugging the Statue of Liberty in his America-themed
Oh yeah, they were basically hired to create a lot of U.S. propaganda. They were drawing for the troops, basically.
pajamas, the war was over and they could get back to work. This brought about the Silver Age of films like Peter Pan, Cinderella,
Oh, yeah.
Lady and the Tramp, and The Jungle Book. However, it was during the process of making The Bungle Jook that the man behind it all, Walt DreamWorks, sadly passed away.
Walt Disney died at this time. Sometime, some other
Hold the
time.
fort. He hated Jews.
And by the next
That's
movie,
very
they
true.
were just
I didn't even see what that was.
black cauldroning everywhere. It was embarrassing.
I want to see what he said though.
And by
God damn it, I can't hear that. The first thing people who worked alongside never accused him of direct. He was a part of the Motion Picture Alliance for Approving Ideals, a group of filmmakers who organized Oh, okay.
And by the next movie, they were just
That's why
black
people say that.
cauldroning everywhere. It was embarrassing.
Cauldron-
This is what
Black
happens when
Cauldron
your
looks
main
cool,
figurehead
though.
kicks the bucket and you
I've
start
never
hot
actually
potatoing
seen the full
leadership
movie,
around to
but it looks
anyone who will
cool.
Look at you funny. Without that strong vision at the top, films like Oliver and Company, The
Or-
Rescuers, Robin Hood.
I
well,
loved Oliver and Company when I was a kid. Like, I had the VHS. Why should I worry? Why should I care? I was really tiny at the time, but I loved that movie.
No, Oliver
Awakening
and
just
Company, the movie where it's this little cat with a bunch of dogs.
Yeah. Do you remember it?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. This is good.
Oh, it's mine too.
about everything it could, and
I
kids
watched
who
it
watched
so
it
many times.
flopped hard at the box office. Disney was straight up eating dirt throughout all of the 70s and
It's one-
most
I
of the
think it's-
80s. It got so bad that management
Yeah.
straight up kicked the animators out of the studio and locked the doors till they got better at animating. So the
Oh.
gang got back together and decided to hit the in case of getting bad at animating break
Mm-hmm.
glass button and started work on their first proper princess fairy tale in years, The Little Mermaid. This movie was a rousing success and ushered in the Disney Renaissance. Now, you could say that every film released from 1989 to 1999 was solid gold, but every Renaissance has some hangers-on. Rescuers Down Under, Get Out.
Yeah.
That mouse-sized hurdle was
yeah, I
masterpiece
loved,
after masterpiece.
Oliver
You
and
have Beauty
Company.
and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Hunchback
Yeah, a
of
lot of
Notre
good
Dame,
ones.
Tarzan, Hercules, Mulan. And yes, while Pocahontas
Oh.
is Pocahontas, and you can't really remove the Rosie O'Donnell 8 from Tarzan, that doesn't take away
Yeah.
from just how good Disney was getting. They had to rework how the Oscars work just to not recognize Disney for how good they were doing. And then those pencil neck geeks had to go and show them that they can make cartoons with the computer. Disney released their magnum opus on February 10th, 2004 when they released The Lion King 1.5 bonus DVD containing Who Wants to Be King of the Jungle, Timon and Pumbaa's Virtual Safari, and that stupid light game nobody ever played. This was released as a make-good to the fans of the studio after they briefly forgot how to make movies. 2000 started the real end of the Disney hot streak. Fantasia 2000 wasn't dynamite, but Dinosaur is something else.
Oh,
this was the
I remember Dinosaur. Do you remember Dinosaur?
Yes, I love that movie. It's kooky.
It was
real sign of trouble. Pixar was constantly advancing animation in a direction that Disney wasn't exactly ready for. These 3D graphics might not age as well as the 2D animated movies from around the same time, but they were something that had never been seen up until that point. Compare the offerings of companies like Pixar or DreamWorks or even smaller ones like Blue Sky. They were either all in on 3D animation or quickly learning that 2D was on its way out. That may sound like an indictment on tradition.
The Prince of Egypt was an amazing movie that I watched as a little kid. It was not for children, though. Dear God, was that movie not for children?
Animation, but it really isn't. It's just an analysis of what films people were going to see at the time. Movies like Ice Age, Shrek, and Toy Story 2 were big successes, while Titan AE, Iron Giant, and Treasure Planet weren't.
I hate that Iron Giant didn't do great. I love Iron Giant so much.
It's a good movie.
It's such a good movie. It deserves so much praise that it never got at the time.
Disney just had to get on the CGI bandwagon and we all be groovy, right? Well, not quite, because that thing where they still didn't know what they
know now.
So you have the what now?
Looking at some of the cards and what they use for the Tin Man straight up reminds me of something from the Star Wars RPG, like the tabletop. And that's not a good thing.
Isn't the Tin Man basically look like R2-D2 in that?
Oh, I don't know. This dude does not look like R2-D2. This man looks like he's friggin' a straight-up zombie monster. It's kind of hilarious, actually.
I think you're looking at the wrong card,
actually. Maybe, but it looks like it's straight out. It looks like it's 100% one of the now, which is like something not really good.
Okay, look at Cosmo Goodwitch. And Cosmo Dark Lady at some point.
Cosmo Goodwitch looks weird.
His eyes. Superman.
She's a fairy.
Yeah,
she's like a weird fairy elf thing. It's hilarious.
She's a Jedi Fable. Anyway.
She is. She even has a sword and it glows. It's hilarious.
Yeah, now look at Dark Lady. Anyway, yeah, Superman. I love the Iron Giant. It's why I was so glad it was in Ready Player One. But it didn't get a lot of screen time, but still.
We're doing was in full swing. Not only did it take them until 2005 to start releasing 3D animated movies, but they also didn't start making good ones for another 5 years. Not just that, but they were also working on destroying the reputations of movies that people actually like by releasing low-quality direct-to-DVD sequels.
I wasn't talking about you, babe. I meant everybody else.
So for most of the time where I was personally alive, I spent it getting really excited for Pixar movies and the opposite of excited for Disney movies. There were still good movies. Obviously, it's not like everybody's brain fell out at the exact same time, but there was still an unignorable shift in the vast quantity of quality. If you don't eat your home on the range, then you don't get any Meet the Robinsons for dessert. However, you may have noticed the lack of news of Disney dying during this period. In fact, you may have read the news about them currently planning on buying you. They're just closing the deal with your parents right now. Disney was not only not in danger during this period, I think they're in a position to never be in danger again. They have more money than most nations, and not the small ones you can't point to on a map. I'm saying they could probably swing buying Finland if they put their backs into it. They have a theme park that counts for most of the population of Florida, bought the rights to Jar Jar Binks,
it was kind of crazy,
and Mo Sizlak, and are currently on the brand new hot streak of
films. It is kind of crazy how much they could buy.
Frozen, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, Moana. No, not that one. No, not that one. No, not that one. No, not that one. And Encanto. Now Disney sits and...
I mean, they've been slowly dying due to Marvel and, Well, they're losing a lot of money because they screwed up Star Wars and Marvel, but we won't
Kind
go
of
into
a
that.
weird position of being less an entertainment company and more so unofficial fourth branch of the U.S. government, having a direct impact on laws like extending copyright so they can't let the 1,000 Mickey Mouse dating simulators waiting to be released come out when the copyright expires, and making sure that gay people can't live their lives happily. For a company with 24 first ever LGBT
Oh, yeah, they
characters,
did that.
you'd think they'd figure out what they were doing, but no, you really let Cyclops cop from Onward down, Disney, for shame. The next part
They
is
never
going to
cared,
show
though.
why exactly we had to skim over most of the history of
Into
Disney,
some
because this
stuff
next
of a
part
big
is only a
Woodstock.
fraction
Yeah,
of their
pretty
history,
much.
and it's gonna take a while. So what exactly was the cause of Disney's downswing come the 2000s? Well,
God.
pretty much every change in that regard came from the fact that Disney was currently being piloted by an evil Dutch pirate captain from the 1600s.
What?
Michael Eisner is most famous for
Oh.
being the personal punching bag of Defunctland, but he's actually not a cartoon character like you may think. He was actually Disney's president from 1984 to 2005, which makes him the guy who was at the helm for both its fall, its rise, and its even.
What are you looking at, Fable?
The cards.
Okay, did you look at Scared Lion? Because it's basically you.
Yeah, he's adorable. I love him. He's just a little guy.
Also, look up, did you look up Tin Can?
Yes, he literally just looks
Yeah,
like
that's-
R2D2.
Exactly, that's the Tin Man. Anyway.
Even bigger fall. In the beginning, he was a savvy businessman who expertly
Yeah,
pulled the
he ran
strings to put
Disney for a
Disney in a
while,
position to
and
become
I've
the
watched a
media
few
empire it is
Defunctland
today.
videos
By the
about
end,
him.
he was a blind guy wildly swinging around a sledgehammer around an orphanage in the darkest reenactment of a Gallagher bit you've ever seen.
God
He and
damn.
his friend Jeffrey Katzenberg would enter Disney in 1984 and turn things around by using a combination of enthusiasm, creative freedom, and work ethic to turn around the films, make deals to secure massive TV conglomerates in ABC and ESPN, and make the highest-grossing Broadway thing of all time because,
Really?
yeah, why not? It's only like the
Oh,
third or
yeah!
fourth most impressive thing they
I
did
forgot
this decade.
about that.
However, Peaches and Cream, this wasn't, as in addition to all the good things, there were bad, like pushing out Jeffrey Katzenberg in such an ugly breakup that he ended up making Shrek out of spite. Michael also massively bungled the launch of California Adventure and publicly executed the concept of magic in Europe with Euro Disneyland.
Oh, yeah,
And worst
I
of
also
all,
heard
he
about this a
majorly
bit.
screwed up Disney's last good
I say
thing.
oh yeah a
See,
lot
Steve
because this is like bringing back the memory hole from within my mind, everyone. I don't know what else to say about it.
Jobs, one of the heads of Pixar, was negotiating for a better deal with Disney. In this time where you were constantly stepping in Brother Bear, Pixar was making Disney a lot of money. Some could even say that they were dependent on them.
Yeah.
Looking to sweeten the deal because of it, Jobs and Eisner got into a shouting match that ultimately led to Pixar looking for a new distributor. This was DEFCON 1. If they kept making Atlantis the Lost Empires without the safety net of cars, they were in massive trouble. Company-ending amounts of trouble. So
True.
Disney had one goal,
Oh,
make
The
the
Incredibles.
next movie a hit. They needed to show Pixar that they could do just fine without them. If they didn't make a hit, they would lose massive bargaining power when it came to getting their contract back. If the film flopped, Pixar could fleece them for everything they were worth after proving that they were nothing without them. The movie that all that hope was pinned on?
Really?
Oh, fuck. Chicken Little
Yeah.
needed to be good. It needed to make money, and the money it made? $300 million. Is it good? Is it bad? I cannot tell with film sometimes. Okay,
Really?
by Disney standards, amazing. This was the most money a film had made since Dinosaurs, which is a worse Chicken Little. So it's amazing, people. Pop the champagne, boys. We did it.
The armor does not go hard, Fable. Anyway.
It goes hard.
Yeah,
Pixar
how?
standards, this was a dismal toilet fire.
Dude, the
Horrible
armor
reviews
looks
made
pretty
less
cool,
than any-
except for like the mask. The mask could be better, but other than that, the armor's pretty cool.
Well, the armor, yeah, the mask is what I was mostly referring to, but yeah.
Their movies did, and generally regarded as
Yeah.
a mess.
Much better.
So the
Yeah.
movie didn't bomb, but
But
it
it-
didn't make all the money in the world.
So-
neither side really had an advantage. Which
Weird.
actually meant that Disney had the advantage since they got to deal
Yeah.
with Pixar, which let them further expand to buy Marvel, Star Wars, Fox, all that stuff. So if you
Really?
look at it from this perspective, Chicken Little is the most important movie Disney has ever made. From every other perspective, it sucks. But that still doesn't answer question numero uno. Why
Yeah.
does this game exist?
Yeah,
Chicken
why?
Little being the company's first hit in almost half a decade made them trigger happy to start doing even more with it. And that involved
Hmm.
a sequel that never happened, a TV show that never happened, and a game which
Really?
shut up.
A TV
Instant
show?
Action was the only part of this plan for expansion that ever actually took form. Thank God. But it's
Yeah.
here. It exists. It feels like it fell out of an alternate dimension, and now it's time to actually
Yeah, it's such a
so
strange
before
thing to
anything,
have.
The presentation of this game is bizarre. Not the graphics, I mean how the game is actually given to you. You're not playing a game about the movie. You're playing a game about Chicken Little and his gaggle of mooks playing a game about the movie. That means not only are there cutscenes to show how Chicken Little is enjoying the game, but they do running commentary over the whole thing. Along with the other characters you play as, that means there are at any time 6 characters screaming in your ear at any given moment. It's already weird, but it gets weirder when you...
What does that say? Comment, please explain to me why the deacons keep out during a ship. Hello, killer. We're carrying more psychers, or... No, we're not allowing demons on the ship.
Realize they got Zach Braff back to reprise his role as Chicken Little from the movie. I mean, it's nice, but I can just imagine somebody waking up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night thinking, when was the last time I gave Zach Braff money? In the actual game, you start out with the biggest positive we have going for us, and that's that Adam West is back to voice Ace. This man is a national treasure, and any opportunity to hear him talk is one eye treasure. First thing we do in the game is head off to Pluto after its planetary prison gets sieged.
He's not around
so we send
anymore.
the expendable crew members to go check it out. Oh, very funny, guys. So before we get into the whole moving around thing, we need to talk about something very, very weird. This game's mouse sensitivity is bananas. I set it to max, and the best I'm getting is having to whip my mouse over and over again to look around at a snail's pace. The best solution I found was to open my own computer settings and up the mouse sensitivity to maximum. That was until I did a little sleuthing and found out if I wanted to fix it, I'd have to open my radon control panel, which I've never done before, and cap the game's frame rate. This is because the game was trying to output at 2,000 frames per second.
Wow, what the hell? Well, old games have a lot of these problems for some reason. I don't really know why. Like, seriously. Is that Mama Cat? Yes, it is!
Meow.
She's very nice.
Hello.
She sometimes throws pies at us, but she's very nice.
It's such a common problem that the Steam forums for this game just talk about how to fix it. When I saw that as a potential fix, I scoffed and said, oh yeah, sure, that'll work. To which was then thrown back into my face. I didn't figure that...
I don't need more pies in my face, thank you.
What kind of pie we talking?
Oh my god.
The sound until World 2,
I'm
so just understand that when we
curious.
get there, my wrist was seconds from snapping and my mouse pad now had tire tracks on it. So the game plays oddly enough like Ratchet and Clank. You have a laser blaster, a grenade launcher, a jetpack, and a dodge roll, which cannot dodge anything. Ace's movement is standard, but at the same time, when the last game put you in charge of an RC car with a busted wheel, I'll take tank controls, to be honest. The main problem really isn't how Ace is so slow. It's a good speed for combat since you can move around without worrying about flying off the platforms, but when trying to get somewhere fast, it's maddening. I mean, except when the game decides to speed up for no reason at total random and then go back to the exact same speed not a few seconds later. I'm not complaining, honestly. I'd probably still be walking to the end of the first level if I didn't have it. Speaking of that first level, it's a standard run and gun level, just to get you used to the controls.
A little bit of Ratchet and Clank
with
here.
The lasers, though, show off how the mouse sensitivity bug really bugs me, as I have to take cover just to turn around. At the end, we trip the prison's defense sequence and have to call in backup. We also see the challenges the game has, like beating levels in a certain amount of time, destroying these communication orbs, and finding all the bonus Mega Acorns. Whereas in the last game, collecting acorns only got you extra lives, this time acorns can be used to upgrade your weapons. You can not only enhance your gun to have new properties, but also get new sub-weapons and extra shields. It's a massive improvement since it feels like there's actually something worth collecting in the game, even if they are note-for-note bolts from Ratchet and Clank. Dying 2 is a much bigger...
Yeah, basically they looked at Ratchet...
the helicopter, I'm scared.
You don't have the helicopter? That's why you're scared?
Daisy has a helicopter.
Oh no, that's not very good. Also, and Violent Snuggles, yes! Big Momocac is Violent Snuggles a lot of the time.
Eat.
Anyway.
The helicopter.
Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, yes. This is basically, they made a Ratchet and Clank clone, which isn't bad, but given how this game plays right now, it's obviously not that good. I want to make a Ratchet and Clank clone one day.
Consequences, instead of just losing a life, you lose
For
the
funds.
acorns you need for upgrades. All in all, the actual grind through Ace's levels is pretty fun. I definitely
Oh.
see what people meant when they said that this was a Ratchet and Clank clone, but I don't think
I
that's
mean,
exactly
if it's a
bad
good
thing.
one,
Luckily,
yeah.
this is more Ratchet Deadlock than All for One. You may have noticed that I
Yeah.
said Ace
Ratchet
levels.
Deadlock is
That's
great.
because you don't just play as him. Returning from the last game is multiple playstyles. Whereas the last game had as many playstyles as there are species of beetle, this game limits it to 3. The next one we deal with is Abby, who flies around in a spaceship. She
Oh.
controls pretty well, her levels are all open, and her movement
This
is free
looks
flowing
like
enough to
the
let you
stuff
take
from
advantage
Ratchet
of the
and Clank
space. She controls
Was
more
Ratchet
like a
and Clank 3?
hovercraft than a spaceship, but I'd
Yeah,
much
that's
rather it
literally
move
the
like this as
hovercraft from
opposed to the
Ratchet and Clank
spaceship
3.
levels in the last game. Her level is nothing too special. All you gotta do is get from one end of the level to the other and blow up the 3 control towers, and we're done. It's
Nice.
probably my least favorite of the 3 control schemes, but I'd happily take it over playing the baseball game again. After Abby disables the
Understandable.
shields, we need to send in Runt to let Ace move forward. The final control scheme is controlling Runt's
Tank.
tank. This might actually be my favorite. You're so massive that most small arms fire just bounces off of you, and your guns and
Cool.
missiles are so strong that stuff that it would take Ace and Abby minutes to destroy takes you a second. Not just that, but the tank itself is
This is
super fast.
crazy.
Gets a dash upgrade later on to make it even faster and controls
This seems
like
actually
a
good.
dream. After playing his levels in the last game
This
with
is crazy.
gritted
I
teeth,
wasn't
Runt gets to be
expecting
the
this.
best part of this one. After this level, we gotta check back in with Chicken Little and his friends. You know what society's been missing? Games about gamers. How am I supposed to relate?
Why don't you ever ask me to play?
Because girls don't like playing video games.
What the? Is the right use of bass? I've always seen it used to talk about women. I'm too scared to ask at
Abby's
the
up next,
time.
and we gotta fly into action with support. This level isn't as wide open like the last one. You gotta take things nice and slow. Blow up some watchtowers, duck and dive between hanging bridges, and use the new mine repulsor for yet undiscovered purposes. After you get through there, we finally get to the next Ace level. Thank goodness, I haven't gotten my cootie booster shot, so I was in a lot of danger. First thing we
Alright.
do in this level is meet the 4th hidden gameplay style. I've got
What?
a nosebleed coming on my top.
Oh,
two
this
seconds.
is just
Can't
Ratchet
handle
and
any
Clank,
more
'cause you have
playstyles. This is the
no
matching
minigames.
colors hacking minigame. Shoot the right color at the right tumbler at the right time for the right result, which is winning. These sections show up a lot in Ace levels from now on, and the most I'll say is
just
that it
Ratchet
can
and
be
Clank
very
now.
persnickety on which counts as hitting the tumbler, as
'Cause
in
this is a lot
sometimes
of this
hitting
in
is
Ratchet and
missing
Clank.
and missing is hitting. This level is all about getting to the center of the prison so we can find Foxy Loxy's prison cell. You know, just to make sure she's still there. This level throws tons of enemies at you in tight spaces with no way to escape besides running away. That, and it has lasers with perfect accuracy where it's not a matter of if you can dodge it, more how little damage can you take. After that,
Oh,
we
damn.
skillfully trip the alarm and send the prison back into lockdown. Luckily, all we have to do is destroy this big alarm system to shut it down. Pro tip, killing yourself does not disable the alarm. Repeat,
Oh.
killing yourself is not the answer. This section isn't hard, more so boring for how you need to keep climbing the elevator to the top level, then throw a grenade, then you're in the clear. After that is
Oh.
a battle arena and another battle arena, after which is another battle
Annoying.
arena where you have to run through these tight trap-filled hallways all the way to the end of the level. Except in your way is the same generator again, not even 10 minutes after fighting the last
Wow.
one. No new tricks, no different attacks, just fan service for all the people clamoring for the return of the best character in the game, the alarm system.
Oh
Don't
my
worry no
God.
more, guys, it's back, it's gone. Once we finish that, we come face to face with Foxy Loxy. Oh, ho, ho, somebody's been watching too much Robin Hood. This
Oh, Fable, you just had a girl named Alice.
Oh,
with Foxy
okay.
Loxy. Oh, ho,
A
ho.
That's-
lovely name.
Yeah, it's alright. Also, this reminds me less of Robin Hood and more of Carmelita Fox from Sly Cooper. I actually had to think for her name and the series that she was from for a second there. But yeah.
Oh, somebody's been watching too much Robin Hood. This design cannot be made by a holy man. The person who modeled this is a danger to society. Where are her organs? Her intestine must be the size of a shoestring. Which is weirder, the fact that for the game they made Chicken Little's middle school bully the villain, or that they made her hot? And this is a question for both the in-universe developers and Avalanche Games. This is your fault. So after giving everybody who's on the edge about becoming a furry a little something to think about, she reprograms the warden's
All
tank
right,
and
then.
tries to kill us. So Run's got to use use his tank to try to destroy it without killing the warden. This is the first boss in the game, and it's nothing special. Its attacks aren't that strong, it sends waves of weak enemies between phases, and we just gotta shoot the engine on the back of it to explode the tank and the warden inside, but in a pacifist's way.
What?
Back at the ship, and we figure out
How's that
something's going
pacifist way?
down at the Rings of Saturn at Dank Laboratories, and we go off to find them. Not before getting some delightfully 2006 white boy beatboxing and hilarious runt jokes. Listen, guys, I said I liked your parts of the game. Please stop trying to make me regret saying it. On to Saturn and this
Wait, this game is ripping off Sly Cooper and Ratchet and Clank? Seems like it. I guess because they're furry creatures, they realize furries like Ratchet and Clank, and they saw the space motif. I don't know. If there are furries from Ratchet and Clank, I would know. I just like playing the games. And I want to know what happened to the Lombax.
It's an escort mission with your mothership while you protect it with Abby's ship. Just blow up the enemy hangars to progress. The mothership isn't completely defenseless, so it's not like you need to babysit it, but it takes one of the only advantages of the Abby levels, that you can get them done and over with quickly, and stretches it out over the course of 10 minutes. I realized something may have been up after the enemies stopped attacking and the mothership stopped moving. Only the mothership can destroy the bunkers, so as it stands, I can't actually do anything. This is another problem that the 2000 FPS caused, and it takes me 3 tries before realizing that the game is just a technical mess on PC. There is not a chance I'm playing a shooter on console, so I just keep plugging away before finally capping the frame rate and getting on with my life. The dogfight style of the level is a lot more fun than what we've played previously, but unless you know it's broken going in, it's gonna be an unbearable roadblock. After that, we get a new gameplay style that I feel the blood gushing.
Turret section.
One more of these and I think the video's ending early. This is the turret section.
Why?
Calm down. I know we're all very excited. This game really puts you in the shoes of a space pig. This is what I always imagined it'd be like up there. Anyway, I will not be an accessory to giving a turret section the time of day, so we're moving on to the next
turret sections I never
Here we
liked.
have to track down Sleazel Weasel
Yeah, it seems like it.
in his factory. A new type of enemy gets added that can only be hit when its shell opens,
Why they make
but when
it-
it
I
does,
don't
it sends out
know,
shockwaves.
Common.
It makes combat a lot more engaging by just making it so you can't run directly forward into the enemies and win. After an unreasonable amount of hacking sections, we teleport deeper into the factory with a wide open battle arena, followed by another battle
My dog
arena
comes in
and
now
4
for some
more individual
reason.
battle arenas after that. This level may feel like it's going on forever, and it is, but you're
Yep.
rewarded at the end with a battle arena.
Oh,
Wait for
what?
it! With instant kill explosives all over the
Oh,
place.
wonderful.
Okay, now you can applaud. The last battle arena is less a regular arena and more of a
not good.
timed challenge. Just survive for 2 minutes against basic enemies and a battleship before you get picked up. I'd really like a few more runt missions from now on, because if the next couple levels are like that one where the game's
what
definition
you
of
doing,
speedrunning
dog?
is 25.
Oh, you hurt your... That's why I tell you not to crawl under there. Sorry, guys. My dog just crawled under somewhere she shouldn't have. You're gonna get yourself hurt. I love you, puppy, but there's a reason I don't let you in my room at this time. Because you're silly, you're goofy, I love you, but you worry me. You're sometimes too smart for your own good, but she also does dumb things.
5 minutes, I don't want to come back for a while. Well, my prayers have been answered as a runt level is up next, and it's where we get the battering ring. It gives you a brief boost in whichever direction you're facing and recharges fast, so you can use it as a way to get through long stretches of the level in a flash. For this level, we just gotta take down 3 shield generators, which does involve using the turret again, but thankfully for never more than a few seconds at a time. It's a quick dash all around the level from generator to generator, but they put honest-to-goodness level design into those paths, giving you plenty to...
It's crazy that there is an effort put in this Chicken Little video game. It's a sequel to a movie of a video game of a small part of a movie that no one really cares or talks about.
Shoot at and super accurate turret
it's
towers that can
strange.
shred through your health. It was also the first time I was ever actually worried about my health, but you move fast enough and can always outmaneuver the enemies no matter how fast they
come
are.
here.
After that level, we get
You gotta
another
make sure you're
cutscene
okay.
only for Chicken Little, not the in-game Chicken Little, the in-game, not in-game Chicken Little.
Why
who
not
tried
just
to
call
skip
him
it.
Ace?
He heard
Oh,
how much I said I
oh.
like the cutscenes. He's trying to make the game worse. Time for another Abby level
trying
where
to
we gotta
skip it.
stop the fuel being shipped to Foxy. This is another Abby level without much room to breathe, room for error, but it's got a heck of a lot of room for improvement. Oh! It does have some pretty clever puzzles to blow up the fuel, like waiting till the barrels are in the scanners and then blowing them both up, but like the other Abby levels, it's just kind of slow and boring, especially when it's indoors. After that is a really tense Ace level where we have to go room to room to destroy all the invisible enemies inside. Once you do, you only have so much time before the room blows up and you're killed instantly. With how
Oh.
slow Ace moves and all the bombs littered
That's
along the
not
ground
good.
after the
That's
enemies
not
bite the
good at
dust,
all.
it's a real nail-biter to get out in time, especially with how many enemies wait for you on the outside and the ground collapsing around you. Even worse is when you have to fight battleships on foot
Oh,
with just a
wonderful.
blaster. In the previous levels, you have a spaceship and a tank to take these things out, but now we got a winning personality. Once you blow up the
Oh,
last
dear
fuel
God.
room, you catch up to Sleazel Weasel and have to chase him
Sleazel
along the fins
Weasel.
of a broken propeller. Once you manage to get to him, he runs past you and tries to drop both you and the fin, and just like before, you have to make it back in time. Except this time, there's a near comedic amount of enemies in your way trying to stop you.
Oh,
the
no.
last fin even takes away 5 seconds, and I barely make it. After the last Ace level took up half my playtime so far, this one went much smoother. Turns out Sleazel has sold 200 billion tons of fuel to Foxy onto Mars, and the
Why?
planet is completely overrun with violent vegetation. If this
Oh.
were Fallout New Vegas, I'd be pulling out my famous move
Poor
of pissing myself
chop.
and crying, but I think I'll be much more collected here. The first mission is on the ground in the
Hey.
tank, and it definitely got me nervous that these collectibles are out in the open like this. I'm about to have my lunch money stolen, aren't I? This level introduces the hover, a function that lets the tank cross over lava and acid. It's a feature so convenient that even the characters in the game
Oh.
point out how little sense it makes that I didn't have this earlier.
Yeah.
I bet with this hover I can get across lava and those other toxic substances.
Commander, this plan's nuts. I'm
Oh,
scared.
what the hell?
I want to go home. All right.
What
thank
the
you.
hell is going
The hover
on?
controls are ever so slightly more floaty when floating. Fitting,
Mm-hmm.
but it does mess with you when you have to quickly go back and forth from land to floating and then
Yeah,
back to
I'll
land.
do that too.
This level is more standard tank fare with the ability to get collectibles when you boost off certain ramps for airtime. There are a lot
Nice.
more spots where standard enemies can deal big damage, but as long as you keep up with upgrading your health, you should stay just fine. Once we get in far enough, we drop off Ace for him to infiltrate the base on foot. The main gimmick of this part of the stage is that these gates need to be turned on at these panels that you only have so much time to pass through before they close. That and the floors being electrified mean you have to do precise platforming to survive. Tension gets ratcheted up quite a bit more when these big laser walls replace the standard beams. What you're supposed to do is hide under these manholes to
you came
avoid
back?
them, but I've never
Puppy.
entered a manhole, so I stayed far away. And I'm all...
Dear God. What am I even supposed to say to this?
So just kind of dumb. Now we get an upgrade for Ace, which lets him climb up certain
I don't
walls.
know.
Just like the mine repulsor and battering ram, these can be used in previous levels to help you get to stuff you couldn't before.
Sorry, I
don't think
brought
I've
my
really
dog
had a
into my
moment to
lap.
just
Well,
mention what
she
a
can't fit
massive
all the way 'cause
improvement
she's
this
giant,
game
but yeah.
is. Avalanche only made one other game
Yeah,
between
what-
the Chicken Littles, and it sucked. It was called 25 to Life, and in less than a year, they went from a below-average platformer to a pretty good running gun game. Is it
Wow.
even possible for that to happen?
I don't know.
Yes? How the f is that possible? So the game
I mean, some people, I guess they learn from their mistakes, honestly. This game looks halfway decent. Well, I said honestly again. Looks halfway decent as a Ratchet and Clank clone. Let's see, a #1 speed record for this game. Would people speedrun this?
People speed run anything, dude.
I know. I should stop saying that, but yeah.
shoves my face into the carpet and says, This is how you're supposed to do the mother puzzle before we finish out the level. This video does not contain nearly enough of how much of this stupid
Stop.
hacking minigame there is in the Ace levels. I mean it. If we have to stop a fleeing freighter filled with foliage from escaping by shooting out the engines. I think
Really?
this is meant to be hard, but by the time I get to the first checkpoint, it's practically already dead. They expected
Oh.
that to take 9 minutes. We
Wow.
get another scene of Chicken Little trying to stay on the gamer's edge when a foul tries to tempt him with their feminine wiles. Luckily,
What?
Chicken Little is a gamer, and
is
that
the
has
game
dulled
prepared
him
to
to
do a
all the
speedrun
female
for.
tricks, like
Really?
genuine affection and kindness.
Look,
Listen, that is how they get you. That is how the females get you, with dreaded affection and kindness. I mean, that's how you can catch most men, because, unfortunately, that is all we really ever want, isn't it? Anyway.
I want cookies.
Oh, Fable wants cookies, also.
Cookies sound good.
Yeah,
See, the
what?
madam gets it.
What do you mean she gets it?
Cookies sound good.
And apparently everyone else is doing a thing. They're saying they want pie, and apparently Colin wants pie and a Waffle House, and Falco wants what?
I just want to
What?
blow stuff up.
Yeah.
Men.
Immortalized.
Sounds. It seems that the next level will have more than enough gaming kryptonite. It's an escort level. Fish needs to scan all the stuff left over on the surface, so Runt has to escort him around.
Escort level. I hate escort missions. Everyone hates escort
I go out
missions.
to find all the collectibles and leave him to get blasted into scrap metal and chum.
You
Little
and
did
your-
I
I'll
know that
give-
he would also start
we'll
going
go
around
for
to
a
the other
walk over
sites
the
I was
weekend.
visiting after a little bit, so I may have jumped the gun. Can you blame me?
Yeah.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah.
Well, while we wait for Fish to
Should've
do
been.
boring stuff that nobody enjoys, I want to talk about the actual presentation. I haven't mentioned it yet, but this game has unreal art direction. The attention to detail in this world is super fun and interesting. All of your
Really?
vehicles and weapons are animal-themed. Enemies are themed after farmers, and their own vehicles are animal-themed. The mothership is a
Cool.
big barn. The guard towers on the Pluto level are meant to look like dogs. Turrets
Yeah, I
look
could
like
tell
mice.
that.
There is way too much effort going into making this world feel fully realized and lived in. All
Yeah,
the character
that's
designs are
weird.
really exaggerated and stylized.
Did some of the Ratchet and Clank devs work on this? Because that's the feeling I get. Because that's what they usually do, is they make the world feel real.
Remind you of
and
that
real
old
life.
pulpy space novel art style, which is fitting given the inspiration. The voice acting as well is great. I don't exactly care for the main voices of Little, Abby, and Runt, but their in-game counterparts are fantastic. Getting to listen to Adam West for a whole game is a blast, and it sounds like
I
they
bet.
trapped him in a room and said, "You're not getting out until you act more than any human being has ever acted before."
I've got to show these vile vultures of villainy that I mean business.
Nice alliteration, sir.
Thank you.
On the subject of the voice acting, though, this game shares one of Chicken Little's worst traits. Nobody ever shuts the up.
Oh.
Characters constantly feel the need to be talking. They can't ever let dead air be dead. If it's not the characters in the game talking, it's Chicken Little and company talking about the game, making the most surface-level gamer jokes you've ever heard. It's like it was written by Dorkly. I wanted so badly to turn off the voices, but there was a more than 0% chance that Adam West was gonna say something, and I didn't want a chance missing it. It doesn't
Everyone
help,
loves
however,
Adam
that
West.
there's a very small pool of talking points that they can refer back to.
I
Ace
miss
won't stop
him.
talking about
I do
emotionally hurting
too.
his opponents. Runt is always having a bad feeling. Sometimes if you get lucky, the same voice clip starts looping over and over
no.
and over again without a way to stop it till the level ends.
Hey, Runt, I bet you a bag of chips that we have to stop that next fuel shipment.
Abby, you'll have to stop that next fuel shipment.
Hey,
Oh,
Runt,
no.
I bet you a bag of chips that we have to stop that next fuel shipment.
Abby, you'll have to stop
Oh,
that next
no.
fuel shipment.
Back to the level proper, however, and we get what we need, leading us to a new Ace level. This one shows off Ace's
Okay.
ability to use those beefy wings to toss explosive tomatoes to clear out the path. After that is
Nice.
a gauntlet of having to turn off these killer sprinkler systems to stop the plant growth. Do that 4 times and a quick run of enemies, and the level's
Done.
over. If I had to
Sure.
say one thing about the Ace levels, there's not enough big dumb set pieces. The Chicken Little levels in the last game threw stupid gimmick after stupid gimmick at you that was usually not good, but at the very least made one level distinct from the last. Here they kind of meld together, not enough to ruin it or anything, but just enough for me to notice how little I'm noticing it. Here we enter an elevator. Oh, dude, is that a gamer reference? Ah!
All your bases belong to
I
us.
honestly didn't know what
Thank
to do
you.
with myself when I saw this. If I had played this when I was younger, I would have been insufferable trying to explain this joke to my parents. So there's
Probably.
this game called Zero Wing, right? Is it good? No! At the bottom of the elevator is Lucy Goosey, who you may remember from the last video.
I am. I know barely anything about Zero Wing besides the all your bases belong to us. I don't know anything about the game otherwise. That's pretty much it.
As being the reason I can't ever really be happy again. Well, in this game, you get to shoot at her, so it's up there for Game of the Year. Sadly,
Oh.
not only is it an Abby fight, but a puzzle boss as well.
Oh,
Goosey has
no.
a strong shield that makes her invulnerable to the hyper-advanced laser attacks, but woefully vulnerable to a wooden crate. You can only hurt her by dropping boxes onto her and then shooting her as she tries to retreat. Heavens forbid we do things the easy way, though, as not only are her attacks hard to dodge, but they come out really fast with high damage to make you fail at the last possible second. It's nothing I can't
if I
overcome,
played
but
this game,
things take
I'd
a
be
turn for...
crying in the corner.
That's incredibly sad.
The worst is we
damn.
capture Goosey, but Foxy captures Abby in
It's just-
return.
This game seems like it's too much for nothing.
It feels like it could have been a lot better, but then again, it's related to Chicken Little. Because it's good for what it is, but it's just, I feel like our standards are kind of low to it being a Chicken Little game.
No more Abby levels! Oh, no. Foxy then contacts us with her demands. She wants control of the galaxy, or she'll use the moon that has been stuffed with explosives to destroy the Earth. And we have 1 hour to stop her. Last time I did this, I had 3 days. Yes, thank you, yes. I guess
For that
I have
Majora
played a video
reference.
game before, yeah. What? So the moon is a bomb, and my to-do list has just gotten radically altered. We hightail to the moon and get our first
I've heard
mission
this
with
movie.
Runt. We have to disable the core of the moon by blowing...
What's the name of
core,
that
yeah,
song?
what? So the moon is a bomb, and my to-do list has just gotten radically altered.
Oh, it's from
We
Mega Man.
hightail to the moon and get our first mission with
I
Runt.
never played Mega
We have
Man.
to disable the core of the moon by blowing it up. Blowing up a bomb to stop it from blowing up. And what would you do, Poindexter? This level introduces the only grunt enemy that's a threat to the tank. These weird snake fox robots whose standard attack is the super strong laser turret beam. Why aren't these the only foot soldiers you produce? To get to the core, we need to take out these sentry towers, but since their only weak spot is behind them and they track you wherever you go, you gotta use a teleporter to come from behind and blast them. Once we get to the core, I thought it would have been tougher, honestly. Next up is another ace level where we get the upgrade that lets you make Adam West make the weirdest noises of his entire life. Here you're fighting the fox robots on foot, and if you thought they were hard to deal with a tank, on foot they're tough as nails. They're basically the only enemy from now on, so you have to be constantly on the move to dodge when they bust out the laser. After riding a platform over, we get a platforming challenge where we need to hover, stick to the wall, and fight off waves of suicidal robots who take off a ton of health. The problem with this section is that walking on the walls inverts your controls in a super weird way. It's not just up is down and down is up, it's more like up is left if right is left, but only if Jupiter's in retrograde on the 4th of the month. And also the down key is now asterisk, but only on the number pad. Once we finally get past that, it's the toughest gauntlet in the game as you're swarmed by enemies on a narrow platform where they never stop spawning, while the only way to progress is by breaking this steel door. That, of course, leaves you as a sitting duck for anyone to come up and interrupt you. And in what is an incredibly funny joke to anybody not forced to play it, behind the door is a second door. And behind that is yet another door that sets you on a time limit to either open it or be gored by a drill. We managed to get Abby back and chase Foxy off by throwing our only weapon away, and then we get sent off to catch her in Runt's tank, where she is in Metal Gear Rex. Not only are you tangling with Grimlock, but also waves of mole robots that waste plenty of your time by drilling underground and popping up where you weren't looking. The boss itself has a lot of hard-to-dodge attacks that need you to avoid them by never getting close to the boss in the first place. Of course, that makes it 10 times harder.
Yeah, this part seems extremely too much, honestly.
Like, this is way too much for a child to play. As a kid, this would make me cry and throw a tantrum before going and beheading one of my Barbies.
I didn't know we needed to add that to the list, but okay.
Hit with anything but your
video game, I took it out on one of those old rotten Barbies.
I did not know you took it out on the Barbies.
Main blaster instead of your damage-dealing sub-weapons, but look on the bright side. You flat-out can't avoid the laser attack, so it could be worse. It is worse. The final segment doesn't have you shooting at the mouth like before. Instead, you knock back and blow up a bomb to knock her off the edge of a cliff. Easier done than said, as I've just beaten her. Fox
weird child.
To get sent tumbling to her death as Ace goes down for a victory lap on her corpse. Sadly, her corpse is still alive, and she started piloting only the arm of the mech. My blaster can't do anything to her except when her brain stops working and she decides to stop being invincible from all my attacks.
Was, my childhood hero.
Who was your...
That makes too much sense.
Who was your hero?
Wednesday Addams.
Oh. From the
That
Addams
just
family.
makes too much sense.
Yeah, I can see why.
It just sounds so right. I hate it.
Yep. Oh, she is crazy and she's kooky, and Big Mom Cat is altogether spooky.
For some reason, this is the only part of the game where you're trapped in a permanent lock-on on the target. It's not bad. In fact, this is a really fun final boss. Just weird how the change is made in this place of all places. You have to play jump rope, dodgeball, and third sport to stay alive and attack her when her shields are down. However, killing her twice isn't enough to stop her from detonating the moon anyway.
As a kid, I was Wednesday. As an adult, I'm Morticia.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Family snap nip. Okay. Oh, she rolled down her window.
I said!
We're on to the final level, but I know better. This is just last level 1 of 50. Watch. We have to escape the exploding moon in Abby's ship. All you need to do is get to the end of the level without dying and flying through the rings to keep your boost up. There are health pickups all over the place, so you never have to worry about death. Just hold the boost for this extended victory lap. So the moon harmlessly explodes as Foxy crashes into our mothership, and we get that hot chicken-on-duck relationship we've been waiting for the whole game. Oh, look, Turkey Lurkey's getting in on it to make it a turducken. Not only is the whole universe saved, but more importantly, Chicken Little beat his game too. Pop the champagne!
Finally, a boy was born in this town.
Game's good.
It's surprisingly good. So weird. It was very weird. I expected it to be a takedown of the game completely, but yeah, any lasting thoughts, everyone?
I would throw in, this is not something for a child to play.
Probably not, no. Anyway, thank you all.
Just saying, this would be something that the average child would never want.
Anyway, thank you all so much. And, I'll see you all there. I don't care if I get punched. Oh my god. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you all there. If you like what we're doing here, you will view this several times. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things you
Remember,
usually
kids, don't do drugs.
Yeah, also that. I'll see you all later. Have a good day.
Are you not gonna ask me anything? Okay.
Oh my god, I asked in general. I said, what did you guys think?
No, it's too late.
Oh my god, I'm ending the video now, Fable, okay?
Sweetie, do you enjoy being difficult?
Only when it comes to mech, to be honest. I'm relatively agreeable, and I generally like hanging out with people. Mech makes it so fun to be difficult too.
Fable, when we meet in person, I will take off my glove and slap you with it.
Why are you wearing gloves when we meet up?
This is me challenging you to a duel where you will lose. Anyway, thank you all so much.
Why? I don't want...
Everyone.
Question.